Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. And oh man, it feels great to be back. I love Mondays. Growing up, everybody always acted like Mondays were the worst, but I love Mondays. They are the best. We have to wait all weekend for these markets to open, but when they do, such a great feeling, especially when they are nice and green like they were today. So as we could see by the overall heat map, we did have a nice green day within the markets. Both of the major indexes of the SPY and the triple Qs did push green, and overall investors are feeling extremely greedy, and there was nothing on the economic calendar today, so the markets did push forward. Nothing really to push us back. We did have news around the White House today. Trump did talk with NATO, and he did talk about tariffs against Vladimir Putin and Russia with a 50-day deadline. So he's not happy with what we have seen with the Ukraine war, the Russian war, and there is some tariffs being put on Russia that are expected to happen about 50 days from now. We also know there is some fear, uncertainty, and doubt around tariffs in the short term on other countries coming up at the first of next month. But overall, again, the markets are feeling very greedy and shaking this off. And I believe this will continue because we are seeing this massive rip up in the markets. We really did see the lows around Liberation Day, and since that point we have been on this strong upwards trend. And like I have been saying, just how with a bottom of a downtrend, it's very hard to catch a falling knife. Well, a lot of bears are calling for this uptick to crash, but it is equally just as hard to predict a crash as it is to catch a falling knife. And I believe that the markets will continue to rip up because the Federal Reserve has talked about cutting sooner than expected if the economic data supports it. And I believe that the economic data coming in around inflation tomorrow will support that, and we could potentially see a rate cut coming this month or next month, because tomorrow we do have numbers around the CPI and Wednesday we have numbers around the PPI. So the consumer price index on Tuesday and the producer price index on Wednesday, both dates, all these numbers, all these statistics coming out all around inflation. And so this is going to be some huge data that could really spark even more momentum within the markets, or it could cause some fear, uncertainty, and doubt towards the downside. But personally, I believe that we are going to get in numbers better than what is forecasted, and I believe that for two reasons. First off, I think that the tariffs really haven't brought in too much inflation, at least that we have seen yet. So I think the numbers will truly be good around there. But let's also remember that the government always lies and that the government is on our sides. They manipulate the markets for us, and with the inflation numbers coming in tomorrow, they are most likely going to be lower than they actually are, because what the government will typically do is they will revise numbers in the future. So right now the numbers will come in low, and then about a year from now they will revise the numbers. This is why the bears are typically wrong when they try to predict when a recession will happen, because if it does happen, we won't know till the future when the government does revise those numbers down. So tomorrow I do believe that the numbers will come in good. There will be a lot of positive headlines, and then we will see Trump talking all about the great inflation and putting even more pressure on Jerome Powell. And this should be a very bullish week in the markets overall, because this has been titled as Crypto Week within the House, and they are voting on a bill to regulate stable coins right now. This is a big reason why in general all cryptocurrencies are pumping right now, including Bitcoin at all-time highs. So today we're going to talk about a bunch of different plays that are going to be benefiting from this Genius Act. We're going to visit Circle Internet Group. We're then going to look at the stock DJT, Robinhood stock, and we're going to finish with one that is not as related to crypto, but is a favorite on this channel and is seeing some big momentum, and that is the mascot back there, Mr. Big Bear. But we're going to first start out with Circle Internet Group, because this company right here should see a lot of benefits from this Genius Act Act going through, and that is because Circle Internet Group is the company that issues US dollar coin. And if you don't understand the Genius Act, well, what this basically does is it will provide clarity and protections for stable coins, basically fostering trust and the mass adoption of digital currency. So what we have been talking about all year long with Trump's presidency is he is really pushing us more into the mass adoption into cryptocurrency. And this is massive for these stable coins. It's going to bring a lot of financial clarity and cut out a lot of the gray area. So in the last years, there's been a lot of problems with stable coins just because of taxable events and everything like that. So this Genius Act is going to bring a lot of clarity there and make US dollar coin and other stable coins a lot more legitimate for trading and for actually holding and balancing currency. And so with Internet Circle Group being the company that does issue US dollar coin, with the initial bill passing through the Senate, there was a massive rip up within this company. We saw first they had the initial public offering at the beginning of June, and then with the passing of the bill, there was this massive rip up. Now we have seen a little bit of bleeding in the short term in Circle Internet Group, and this is where an opportunity presents itself because we are about 38% down from the highs from when the bill initially got passed through the Senate. But I personally believe that right now we are just coiling up for the greater rip that we are going to see when this bill gets passed by the House and then eventually goes to the president's desk. And so this is a relatively new company. When it comes to technical analysis, there's not really too much to look at here because the stock is not even 3 months old. So with technical analysis, it really builds after about a year. There is little things we could look at like levels of support and resistance, but overall, I do believe that the big catalyst of the bill passing is going to be what really pushes Circle Internet Group up. And so myself, I do have a position in Circle Internet Group. It is a relatively small position, and this is really a speculation play for me. So I am investing in this for the catalyst that is going to come from this week, Crypto Week in the House, and the passing of this bill. Beyond that point, I'll have to see where my investment in Circle Internet Group goes from there. Mainly, I am playing this for momentum. So I may hold a long-term position after the big pop, depending on where the stock goes, but I will most likely sell most of my position in Circle Internet Group after the big pop comes. That's not to say that there isn't intrinsic value in Circle Internet Group, but I am really playing this one for the trade that is presenting in front of our eyes right now because I am invested in a bunch of other plays that are also taking advantage of the mass adoption into cryptocurrency. One that I talk about a lot on this channel and is a favorite is DJT. So Donald J. Trump's stock, Trump Media and Technology Group. And if you don't know how this company is taking advantage of Bitcoin and this overall mass adoption into cryptocurrency, well, first off, the president of the United States is the biggest ambassador of cryptocurrency. We have seen this from even before he got elected to now everything he has done on his presidency. Before he got elected, he talked about doing the Bitcoin treasury at the White House, and that did happen. So in January, he did keep that promise. And then we have also seen the president dabble in his meme coins as well. Plus, with Trump Media and Technology Group, this company is taking advantage of this push into Bitcoin and into the age of digital currency. They are doing a lot with crypto ETFs, and they also recently announced their big Bitcoin treasury within Trump Media and Technology Group. So I think the Genius Act is going to be big, and there is the possibility that when Trump does sign this off, we do see a bit of a momentum surge within DJT, because currently when we do look at the technicals of DJT on the candlestick chart, we are trading in what I consider to be the basement. We are right underneath the floor, which sits right at about $21, a spot we have tapped multiple times in the last year. So we are trading at $18, looking a bit oversold on the candlesticks, and the relative strength index and the MACD confirm that also to be true, as both of those indicators are looking very oversold also. So this is the moment And these are the opportunities while we are at this beat down position that I am taking advantage and investing into DJT. I bought some options contracts that are set to expire next year, and those have a break even price of just $21. So not much to get back to that upside of 21. And I believe that we should see it anytime soon. Whether DJT does see a momentum pop from this Genius Act and this crypto week, or whether in the future when the earnings from their Bitcoin treasury shows up on their earnings reports, whether it pops then, I believe there will be a pop sometime, because this company is more than just a truth social platform, but really is a bank as well. They are doing so much when it comes to cryptocurrency, and at some point, everything this company is doing when it comes to all the crypto deals they've made and everything else, it will pay off and it will show up in the stock price. So there's a lot of intrinsic value within this company, but this company has been a building company. So this is a good time to talk about growth versus value. If you've ever heard those terms of a growth stock versus a value stock and you don't know the difference, well, a growth stock is a company that has already proved results and continues to prove results, something that is already set in motion. We could look at growth stocks such as Chipotle or such as Berkshire Hathaway, companies that constantly provide better earnings and keep good guidance and overall are just growing companies that you could put your money into and not look at for the next 10 years and know they will be safe opportunities, because when you invest into something with growth, you really believe in that business. When it comes to value, you also believe in the business, but you're really investing into something that you see opportunity in for the future. So the past with DJT hasn't been the great. Their earnings reports haven't been great. They've done little things when it comes to dilution. And of course, there has been a lot of manipulation within this stock also. But myself, and I know a lot of the investors on this channel, invest into this for the potential that is to come within DJT. And why this is such a value investment is because everything that DJT is doing right now, and I'm talking about Trump Media and Technology Group, has all occurred within this term of Trump's presidency. So within just the last 6 months, they have done so much, and a lot of their value just hasn't shown up yet on their balance sheet. So I believe it will sometime here in the near future, and I'm very excited for what the future of DJT has to bring. And so with that, now is a good opportunity to bring up a growth stock, which was recently a value stock, and that is Robinhood. I considered this to be a value play right after the liberation bleed that we had, because it was severely undervalued at this point, and now this play is really looking like a growth play because of the intrinsic value that is within Robinhood stock. So if you don't know what I'm talking about with Robinhood, we have seen a massive rip up in Robinhood this last year. We have seen more than a 100% jump from the lows around Liberation Day, and it's not just off of hype and speculation, but because of everything Robinhood is doing. So they have had some great quarterlies at the end of 2024. Their first quarterly in 2025 was pretty good. Their next one is set to be released at the end of this month, but they have released great quarterlies. And in this last month, they have done a lot when it comes to cryptocurrency. They first acquired Bitstamp, and then also they did do a lot when it comes to their EU tokenized stocks. So allowing trading for individuals out in the European Union, allowing those customers to have access to tokenized US stocks. So this is massive when it comes to digital currency, and overall Robinhood is taking advantage of everything when it comes to finances. And so this is a stock right here that I see having continued growth as we go on into the future. Talking about growth plays, let's use Chipotle for example. We have seen Chipotle grow tenfold over the last 10 years. We see Chipotle's all over, and Chipotle, provides consistent results. Now, that is a different sector from Robinhood, but just with the same thought of growth, that is what I foresee in Robinhood. I believe that they are going to continue to bring innovations, continue to acquire more customers, and you are going to see more and more individuals with Robinhood portfolios. So right now, while Robinhood is right at $100, I think that this has a lot of opportunity. And if we're talking about 10 baggers, a 10 bagger being something that could 10x, I still think that Robinhood has a lot of potential to 10x because of everything that they are doing. And the future, there is a lot that the future has to hold for Robinhood. We are really pushing more and more into not only the mass adoption into cryptocurrency, but the mass adoption of everybody really taking control of their own finances. More than ever, people are invested into the stock market and into their own individual portfolios, and Robinhood is perfect for this. Definitely one of the cleanest trading apps, and it is really ingrained into our society now. And so with that, those are all the plays that are taking advantage of the mass adoption into cryptocurrency. Now we're going to visit our last stock, not necessarily a crypto play, but still does have a ton of intrinsic value and has been running up like crazy over this last month. It went up more than 100% in a very short amount of time, but some investors have recently been feeling some fear, uncertainty, and doubt because we did hit a resistance level right around $8.50 in the Big Bear before it was rejected, and we did see some red candlesticks to finish out last week. But as I said over the weekend, what I personally believe is building in the Big Bear is a bullish flag pattern. So just on a technical analysis look, we could see the way this is looking here. We had the big strong uptrend up. We did fall back down a little, and I believe that we are going to see another strong uptrend in the Big Bear. So we have been falling a little bit when it comes to this bullish pattern. It could take a little bit longer than we expect. So I'm not just saying that tomorrow we're going to see a big rip up in the Big Bear. We could have some more consolidation and sideways movements. And if that does happen, that is a positive to me, because as long as the stock doesn't drop, we are still building within this pattern. And I do believe we will see a big rip up in the Big Bear. And that big rip up may come from their earnings, which is set to come at the end of this month. So we have seen a lot of strong momentum build in the Big Bear, and if their earnings come in better than expected, if they beat Wall Street expectations or come out with just some shocking numbers, this could be when this strong rip up occurs within the Big Bear. And myself, just like we were talking about 10-bagger opportunities, whether Big Bear is in this bullish flag up or whether Big Bear does drop a little bit more, I am not too concerned, because this to me is a 10-bagger. Everything that Big Bear has been doing this last year, all their customer acquisition, all their airports that they are currently in, the big government contracts that they have obtained, and just everything else that the Big Bear is showing is presenting for it to be a very bullish run in the near future. And we have seen a bunch of volume within the Big Bear recently, but we have trailed off a little bit in volume, but the price is still staying elevated. So a positive sign there, and the bears probably wanted that to be the opposite. They probably wanted to see the volume drop off and all the bulls that are holding Big Bear drop off as well, because we do have a high short interest within the Big Bear up to 27%. And so if you don't know with short interest why that is so significant, is the higher the short interest runs up, that means there are more bears and more puts, the more negativity there is on the stock. And if the momentum does rip towards the upside, those shorts could really get squeezed, and there will have to be a lot of buying back and a lot of closing of the shorts, which could squeeze the stock price up even higher, only furthering confirming the theory of what could be the bullish flag growing within the Big Bear. But that is my bullish opinion. Of course, as I have said many times on this channel, I am very bullish on the Big Bear, but I would love to hear what everyone else thinks in the comment section below, in Big Bear, in all these other plays with cryptocurrency, what you think about this big crypto week in the house, and what you think about inflation, because myself, I am very bullish, and I believe that we are only going to rip more towards the upside, but it's always good to hear everyone's opinions. So please let me know what you think in the comments section below. Also, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I thank you guys, as always, for coming to the channel for the daily talk of stock. What a great feeling it is to be Monday. I love when the markets open back up for trading. As always, we do the daily talk of stock 5 days out of the week. So I'm going to be here for the next 4. Join me if you want to hear more about market data, and if you want to see the reaction that I will have and the reaction of the markets to inflation tomorrow. As always, I thank you guys for being here, and I will see you in the next video.